It was a very important day, and the idea and implementation of such a manifestation, until now it was the greatest manifestation in the world, in the longitude of 700 kilometers, and about 1.5 million of people standing in a living chain, keeping hands each other. Sometimes it is not so clear today, because the approaches of cooperation, even with evil, even with dictatorial regimes, can be seen as prevailing. We are maybe in the middle of the process. At the 1st of September of 1989, just after the Baltic Way manifestation, the chancellor, Helmut Kohl, spoke in the Bundestag. It was his famous speech condemning the Teufelspakt made by Hitler and Stalin, not Molotov-Ribbentrop. He said Hitler and Stalin, which caused the sufferings, losses, injustice to so many nations, including Baltic nations. He named them. He should be aware, after the Baltic Way manifestation, could not pass unnoted by the world. That it is not a political activism of some groups striving for democracy and bringing problems for some plans already established about the new world order promoted by Mr. Gorbachev, in which on a price of diminishing or ceasing of nuclear confrontation, the Soviet Union would be assisted by former enemy, the democratic West, assisted and accepted, approved in its borders, including all annexations, all occupations, all conquests of that long-standing continental colonial empire, because all conquests of old Russia were on the same continent, spreading around, as Tsars used to say, to every sea, to reach every sea around, yes. And nations were for nothing, as there were quite a lot of how we called illusionists in the Western political elite, illusions about Soviet Union, about the possible future of cooperation, accepting this empire in more softer form. We should know to break through also that cautiousness and limited mind about the a real and possible democratic future for all the nations, not for themselves only. And it was maybe the historical role of liberation movements in Central Europe, but also in Baltic states. Because after the liberation of Poland, Czechoslovakia, and East Germany, even allowed to join the West Germany, the process could stop on the border of Soviet Union. And what about us? then we had to stand up and to say, hey, gentlemen, it's not all yet. And this way we served not for ourselves only, but for all nations of Soviet Union. The window was open. If Baltics may do it, go openly, claiming that they are nations which want to be democratic nations in Europe, why not Ukraine? Why not Caucasus? Why not Moldova?